friends. I'm Jamie Dawn, your professional psychic advisor, success coach, evolutionary, revolutionary astrologer. And I'm bringing you the Jupiter, Saturn in Aquarius, your sign video. So if you have your sun, your rising or moon sign, this video is for you. Granted, this is also where I'm placing Aquarius on the ascendant. So we're going to talk about how Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in your first house. Now, remember too that it's all very individual based. So if you would like a more specific reading for yourself, please reach out to me at jamiedawn.com. In the meantime, guess what? You've got the planet of expansion and extravagance and generosity and good luck and fortune transiting through that first house. And you also have the planet of restriction and rules and your traditional ruler and responsibility transiting also through your first house. Now, Jupiter, as I mentioned in my intro video, and Saturn are going to be in the sign of Aquarius, Jupiter for 1 year, Saturn for 2.5 years. And so when it's activating this first house, you're going to be thinking about this personality of yours, right? And what is the underlying motivations, the style, the appearance, and your vitality. This is also the house where matter and spirit join and create something new. So you're going to be active in maybe thinking of new ways in which you can be of greater benefit, that's Jupiter, to humanity, and how you can establish yourself over time, that's Saturn, to be able to work in unusual and new ways that actually help the greater whole. But first, you're going to help yourself. And consider this first house like the captain of the ship. You're navigating the waters of where you want your life to go next. So many of you Aquarians are going to be thinking of new ways, new ideas, innovative and unusual ways in which you present yourself and how you navigate your life moving forward. We could call this a moment of conscious awareness that may show up for you. There's a possibility where you have a moment of maybe conscious crisis, because one thing I want you to pay attention to, Aquarius, is yes, Saturn is your traditional ruler. So having Saturn here may feel quite comfortable for many of you, but so is Uranus. Uranus is our modern ruler, and it's in Taurus, so it's going to be squaring off with your ascendant or your sun or your moon. And so there's an activation of tension here. The thing with squares is that it creates dynamic tension and growth. If everything was a trine or sextile, it would be fairly easy, and we wouldn't really create change. Aquarians, you like change if it's on your rules and your timeline. This is where Saturn can benefit you. Keep in mind, though, Saturn does offer restriction. That is part of its qualities. And so Jupiter provides the opportunity for you to do something very different, or you want to change something in your life that just doesn't seem to be working. And Saturn says, don't create change for the sake of change. Here you are, you're going to probably step into some sort of leadership role in some area of your life that you're focused on. But to create change for the sake of change alone is not really a good quality for a leader. And so what you're offering may be that you create a little spaciousness to let the change come in naturally, and then you respond to it versus either create it or react from it. The other thing that Aquarius in the ascendant placement is that there's an underlying motivation and personality maintaining like an intellectual security. So many of you may decide that you want the wisdom that you have accumulated from all this lifetime so far, that you want to continue to accumulate and then share it with the community. However, you have to work with the rules and restrictions that are in place and that may continue for the next couple of years. And so you may move through all these groups or wanting to find these groups that you can belong to, but it may take time to penetrate the group itself or to feel like you actually belong, because you may still feel like you're sort of on the outside looking in with Saturn sitting here. However, Jupiter has a way of expanding opportunities as well as information for you that can give you just what you need. Now, keep in mind too, when Jupiter crosses the ascendant, there is a tendency to also expand the waistline a little bit. And in this particular case, being an Aquarian, it may be that it tries to expand your mind, but at times you may be resistant to it with Saturn there. So if somebody else comes in with an unusual or a innovative idea, you may push against it because it's not your idea, or you think it doesn't benefit humanity the way that your idea might. So you may do this push and pull between, I want to accept how somebody else is, but I want to do it my way. And I want to do it in sort of dancing to the beat of my own drum, which then creates a little bit of feeling of being on the outside. Consider this too, that you want to really pay attention to the dynamics, like I mentioned with Uranus, where there could be things in your possessions, in your resources, in your body, all this tangible physical things that could be the opportunities triggering you to be able to get into the community at large, or to be able to get into your sense of purpose of how you can benefit the great humanitarian effort that you're so wanting to offer. Maybe it's just raising the vibration of the planet. Maybe you use our tools like science and technology, which Uranus and Aquarius also rules. Maybe it's going through this medium of astrology. Many of you may decide that you're now establishing yourself as that authority, that person. That is the Saturn energy, and Jupiter just expands the opportunity for you to be able to get your message, your platform, your authority out there. Remember too, we've been working really hard over the last couple of years about trusting inner wisdom and inner authority and not abusing power and authority. And so you have the opportunity with Saturn here to be responsible with this new authority that you may receive. The other thing that many Aquarians may be looking at is getting back into travel. However, that may be mutated just a little bit for at least 2021 because of the whole pandemic. And you have to play by those rules that governments and establishments have set up. But that doesn't mean you can't travel. It just means you may have to find different ways of doing it and getting your message out there and being able to be of service and great benefit to humanity or to a particular cause that mirrors who you really are and what motivates you most. So do what you do best, Aquarius. Think out of the box. I think the biggest thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is that you don't get too pushy with your ideas onto everybody else and thinking that they need to think like you. Instead, this is more about celebrating the individuality of everyone in a collective cause. So keep that in mind, that as you're expressing yourself as an individual, you're still part of the collective. And that's something you guys can do really well, Aquarians. All right. I look forward to hearing how this goes for you. Again, connect with me at jamiedawn.com and have a fabulous day.